Hello, welcome to the Peace of Mind podcast, where peace was never an option. I'm your co-host Fiend, and this is the other co-host. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Zayla. How you doing, everybody?
I believe they're doing good. Why else would they click such a good podcast, eh?
Eh, I guess you're right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast, where we pick a topic and then we just talk about it,
Yep,
and that's it. That's it. That's all there is to it.
yep. But before we go into our topic, how was your day going?
Oh, well, not so great, Fiend. Today I woke up.
Good night, everybody.
I know. I woke up this morning and I ran a bunch of errands, and after those errands and waiting in line at Walgreens, because for some reason the line at Walgreens is always for fucking ever.
Yeah,
After that, I came home, and we finished recording a series, and now we're doing this podcast, and yeah.
yeah. From what I've seen with just like going to stuff like Walgreens or even the bank, if I'm really thinking about, just like even if there's just a single car that's in front of you, it's either just one of those moments where it's just going to be like, okay, hopefully this is done within a few seconds. Everybody moves their way. I get a lollipop at the end. We're all hunky dory. Most of the time, though, it's like I'm going to go into the second lane that's clearly empty, and I'm going to be stuck here for 20 minutes and not even get a goddamn dum dum at the end of it.
I'm dumb. Gosh. No, for real though, like I feel like drive-throughs for the most part they're fine, but if they take if they start the longer they take, the more anxious I start getting. I already have a lot of anxiety problems, but it gets even worse whenever I have to sit and wait in the line for a drive-through because I just the more I think about it, the more I realize I'm going to get up there, they're going to be like, welcome to a generic fast food place or medicine place or something. Oh, what the fuck do you want? I'll be like, oh yeah, well, hold on. Oh gosh, I forgot everything. I've been sitting here for 20 fucking minutes, and now I'm finally here, and I got to think about it again. I'm no longer prepared. I'm no longer ready.
I guess I never really thought about that because normally, like, whenever I go to like any sort of fast food drive up, my mind just completely blanks out. It's like, okay, I'm gonna leave this sticky note right here, and if you want to remember what it is, just refer back to it.
Yeah, don't that doesn't work that way for me.
Yeah, though, speaking of, like, my whole day so far has just been waking up and going to get some fast food, just relaxing and all that. And I remember going on a bit of a rant with you about this place. Like, I don't know if we'll get in trouble for mentioning them, so we'll just
What
say
place?
it's Burrito Ding Dong.
Oh no, we won't get in trouble for talking about El Taco Bell.
I'm set on calling it Burrito Ding Dong. It's too fun. But I went on a rant with you about old Burrito Ding Dong, and just, oh my god, like, I don't hate their food for the most part. But there are some things about that place that just flippin' irritate me. Like how we talked about earlier, how, my dear God, they do not know how to layer a burrito. I don't understand it. It's just, they always layer it, like, vertically. And it
I don't.
drives. What's up?
Said, no, sorry, keep going.
It's just that they always layer vertically. And all I can think of while I'm screaming in the back of my mind, layer it horizontally. I don't want to be going bit by bit, having a tortilla that's entirely just, oh, here's the sour cream portion. Oh, here's the bean section. Oh, here's the cheese section. And here's the frickin' sauce that's all coagulated on the bottom. So that way, when you bite into it, that's all you're tasting, and your mouth is on fire because we don't know how to layer a goddamn burrito.
Yeah, what I was gonna say was burritos are my least favorite thing at Taco Bell. I like Taco Bell. I do enjoy going to Taco Bell. Uh, I just don't like their burritos, and I think in general I think in general I just don't like burritos much because I don't. There's certain foods that I don't dislike the taste of, but I don't like eating because eating them feels like a chore.
Really? That I did not expect with you and burritos.
Like they feel like a chore. They feel just there's just something about the experience that's up. This is such a first world problem. But yeah, it's just something about burritos. I don't know. I'd rather have like a smaller, just a taco, you know?
I do like making burritos myself sometimes, but the one thing that I swear under any amount of training and wizardry, I will never learn how to properly wrap a damn burrito. I cannot for the life of me know the proper ways of doing it. I can't even wrap presents, and then being told to wrap a burrito, it's just I can't do it. It's a mess half the time.
I don't mind burritos so much whenever I make them myself because then they're not overstuffed. They're I can prepare them the way I want.
And they're pretty easy to
Um,
make.
yeah, but I think for the most part, just that there's it's just a lot of times it feels like too much to tackle.
Yeah, and honestly, one of the best things to get from Taco Bell or Burrito Ding Dong, sorry, I've grown attached to it, is the one object that people that they originally thought was just going to be a limited item and it then became their most popular selling product. Do you know what that product is?
Is it the chalupa?
No, I was thinking of the Dorito Locos Tacos.
Oh, I love that thing.
Oh my, and the fact that they were originally just going to be limited and then it
Uh,
just turns out, hey, this is our highest selling product.
I love it, and it's always in the $5 boxes these days, and I love it. And I'm just like,
Yes.
ah,
They are
so good.
it's so simple, but it's so good. But
I think
speaking,
I'm mixing up. I think I'm mixing up the chalupa with the gordita.
I don't even know what the gordita is.
The gordita, if I remember correctly, I'm not 100% in this. I might have to look it up and actually get this correct, but it was something that came out originally when the Godzilla 2000 movie came out, is when I remember it coming out. But it's also around the same time I remember the chalupa coming out.
The main thing I know about the chalupa, it's the one where the shell is, I believe, it's deep fried, something like that. It's the
Yeah,
thicker shell. Though,
let's see. Let's see if that still exists.
while you're looking that up, can I go on another rant?
Yeah.
So, speaking of the deluxe boxes, which are usually a very good deal for what you get out of it, my god, out of all of the food, because most of the stuff from Burrito Ding Dong, it's just, it has some salt in it. It has a little bit of something that gives it that salty kick and everything, except for their goddamn chips. I don't know what it is or who thought of that, but the chips are somehow unsalted and the most bland thing on their damn menu. And it just bothers me because it's like, they're chips. How are you not salting these? Oh, because the cheese is supposed to be the I don't care about the goddamn cheese. I want the chips to not just be dipping sticks.
Gotcha.
And it's like, I'm gonna eat them, but it's like, give me something with flavor, for crying out loud. It's like, they're not bad. They're just bland.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 There's something weird about them. I don't know what it is.
Did you figure out your gordita mystery?
It came out in 1998.
Was it what you thought it was?
No, well, hold on, because I think they still might sell them.
Wow.
When was the gordita released?
We're making such a topic out of these freaking menu items.
I know. What the fuck is this? Gordita Chronicles?
What?
What?
What kind of bionicle
Taco-
stuff are you stumbling on?
TacoBell.fandom.com. The
There's a
Gordita Supreme is, is a member of the Gordita family of Taco Bell menu items. Uh, it, it doesn't say much more information than just this. The Gordita Supreme contains beef, lettuce, tomato, sour cream, and 3-cheese blend on pita bread and Gordita shell. Once can be purchased at participating Taco Bell restaurants for $2.89.
I think what it might have been is I think that's the one where it was 2 shells with the cheese in the middle.
Something like that, yeah. Here's top 5 Taco Bell moments. Let's see here.
What?
Number 1, Yo Quiero Taco Bell.
Oh, the doggy.
Number 2, the Gordita. In 1998, Taco Bell introduced the Gordita to the American public. The grilled Mexican flatbread taco attempted to replicate the authentic gorditas sold in Mexico for years. They were first available in 3 flavors for 99 cents: Supreme, Fiesta, and Santa Fe. In 2001, Taco Bell introduced the new Cheesy Gordita Crunch.
Okay, that
The
is
new
the one.
3 cheese and beef gordita was wrapped around Taco Bell's signature crunchy taco. It's fast food gluttony at its finest.
Okay, that was what we were thinking it was.
The other 3 are the fast food combo restaurants, just the Taco Bell,
Oh,
KFC.
yeah, the one, like, I remember having a Taco Bell Pizza Hut.
Yeah. Number 4 in this is Fergie shout out in her song "Glamorous."
Why?
Um, Apparently, Taco Bell opened up one of its restaurants for her and all her closest friends after one of her concerts, providing all with free extreme cheese and beef quesadillas.
That's...
And number 5 is the drive-through diet.
I'm still stuck on
Newest craze to hit Taco Bell locations is the Taco Bell drive-through diet. The commercial features Christine Doherty, a Taco Bell customer who claims to have lost 54 pounds on the new diet menu. That menu features 7 offerings, all between 150 and 350 calories.
I'm still stuck on the part where it's like, we love your music, you want some tacos?
I'm gonna look up Taco Bell Godzilla tie-in.
Oh my god, you're going on quite the adventure over freaking tacos.
Yes, I wanna remember, because Godzilla was out in 1998, which was the same year that the Gordita came out.
It wasn't that great of a movie, though.
I don't care. The part is that it came out, and Taco Bell had like a promo with it, and they had like sold cups. They sold like a Godzilla. It had like a Godzilla like thing. It was like a big I think it was like a drink topper or something. I don't remember. There was a cup. There was a cup holder. There were special cups.
A lot of cup.
Yeah, and I want to know.
God, was this
Let's
back
see.
when they had like a kids menu?
See, Taco Bell is an American. Yeah, whatever. Toy merchant. Okay, some Godzilla promos on wikizilla.org.
You've gone from one wiki to another.
They had collectible cups. They had toys. That Baby Godzilla Wobbler, 2 variations. Jet shooter. Action Attack Godzilla. Godzilla Slime Egg. Water Tank. Escape Flight Helicopter. I like that one's just Water Tank.
It's like, well, kids, what would you rather have? A water tank or a cup? What's the difference?
Okay, so here's the thing. Oh, I remember now too. There was a commercial with the Taco Bell dog for Godzilla where he was like, "Ear lizard."
I am glad you remember all this, because I was but a wee bab, and I wouldn't have known any of this besides that Godzilla movie was bad.
In 98, I was like 13? Something like that, 13 or 14.
I was 4. I was still watching Blue's Clues while that was happening.
I mean, I was still watching Blue's Clues when that was happening, but...
Oh yeah, I still watch Blue's Clues. It's not weird.
Alright, anyway, so, that... God. I don't... Taco Bell... I feel like... Okay, so I think the Gordito just came out around the same time.
I forgot we were still talking about the Gordita.
Oh, yeah, right. Hold on. So the dog was like... was trying to, like, trap Godzilla or whatever. And he was like, here, lizard, lizard, lizard. And then he, like, looked up and saw Godzilla, and he's like, uh-oh, I think I need a bigger box. Like, I'm remembering all this now, but I thought that the Gordita came out around the same time. I thought it was a tie-in because Gordita kind of sounded like Godzilla.
Okay, that's a stretch.
They both started with G-O, and it was around the same. They came out around the same. They came out the same year, so I thought that were a tie-in promo. But yeah, apparently, I don't think that it was specifically a tie-in promo. I think it was something they just added to the menu around the same time, and my young brain smushed them together as two things at the same time. But I do remember the Gordita coming out.
Now I'm picturing a crowd running from the mighty Gordita. And his son, Gordzuki.
And Godzuki. Godzilla. Okay.
Wow, we went on quite an adventure.
Yeah, no, I didn't think we had a whole different topic we were gonna go into, and we started off with the we kind of went into a Taco Bell discussion.
So that was our day.
Yeah, that's how our days went.
So, you ready to get into our topic of choice today?
I guess.
Well, then it's time for us to dig back into the past of horrible, horrible memories. Because we decided we're going to have a little discussion about our after-school activities.
Oh no.
So,
no.
Who would you like to start with their past?
I have so much past. I have so much past. Up to you. It depends. I mean, after school activities, I've done a lot, and undid a lot.
Undid a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So, when I was in elementary school, at least, I hated, for the most part, doing after school activities. Unless I had friends doing them with me. Because I would rather just go home and be home. Like, I didn't want to stay after school and do stuff. But I got involved in a few things in elementary school. I actually got involved in, I was in the Cub Scouts for a little bit. I joined the 4-H club for a little bit. I actually did a lot of after school sports. I was never great at them, but I did baseball and basketball. And by undid, I actually had joined, like, outside of school itself, because these after school activities were actually these in particular were ones that I did through the school.
Oh.
But I did attempt to do a couple that weren't in the school. For instance, I did a Little League for a little bit, and I didn't want to do Little League because I hated, like, one day on the weekend, gotta go play baseball, and I just wanted to stay home and play video games.
Oh my god, I know that so well, because, like, I remember I was also in baseball for an extremely short time, Because I just figured, oh, hey, if I do sports, people will think I'm cool. Oh, everyone will be proud of me if I do a sport. Maybe baseball. I hated baseball so much. To the point where it was just like, yeah, I'll just be in the backfield pretending I have wind powers and I can control the clouds. I was just so fed up. And it got to the point where it's just like, yeah, I'm done with the team. And it like got to a point where the coach was just like, look, kid, I'll buy you a donut if you manage to hit a run. I never got that donut because I just didn't care. And it's like, when you can't convince a kid to play with sweets, that just shows they do not care.
Yeah, so like as an adult, I actually do like playing sports a little bit. Like I like, I actually like doing a little sports. I actually really like just going out and playing catch. Like give me a football or a baseball or something, and like I love just going out in like a field with a friend or something and just throwing a ball back and forth and chatting and stuff. It's actually a lot of fun.
It's relaxing.
We're just going and like, playing basketball and like not even like competing because I'm not really I don't like to compete very much, but I do like to just sit with a friend or something and just like shoot hoops and like just take turns shooting a basketball or something. Like that's fun for me.
Play a little
but
horse.
I don't like competitions too much, especially sports, because they get too aggressive.
Yeah, and half the time, especially as a kid, it gets competitive, but not to the kids.
Yeah, there's that too.
It's like half of the kids just don't even want to be there. It's the parents that are having their battles on the side.
Yeah, but you kind of brought back another memory for me for Little League.
Oh no.
So in the Little League I was in, instead of getting to just walk a base, if you got
nailed.
If you got like, what was it? If you got 4 balls, like the pitcher, the pitcher not throwing over the plate, and so the ball was out of reach, blah blah blah. If you actually got a certain amount of balls, and didn't strike out, of course, swinging at them, they would actually bring out a tee, and then you can actually hit the ball off the tee.
Oh, for.
And so my goal became not swinging, and hoping that they would throw bad.
How often did it work?
I can only remember once. I didn't stay in Little League for long because I didn't like it. It felt uncomfortable. I didn't know all these people. It wasn't a situation where like I wasn't very good at baseball as a kid. Like I can do it now. I could like as an adult, I have way more just I guess coordination, and I could actually, hit a ball if I was playing.
Right.
Like I feel like nowadays I'm a lot better than I ever would have been as a kid. Just because I can connect things together better as a kid. I have somewhat better focus. And I don't know, just back then I guess I was just too anxious as a kid too, as well. Like all these people looking at you, and God, I gotta hit the ball, and if I don't, people are gonna not like me and be mad because I made the team. I messed, just a waste on the team and that type of thing.
I was always terrified of just getting hit by the ball.
Yeah.
And then came the day I got hit by the ball.
No.
Oh my god, it is one of the most embarrassing things when someone nails you with a freaking high-powered ball and you're just left there with a bruise and about to cry in front of so many people. It's like, oh great, now I gotta go to a base after freaking feeling like I just lost an arm.
So you just reopened a memory again. So we had this coach, same coach through all of elementary school. He was awesome. He was one of my favorite people. at that school. His name, we called him Coach Bass. That was his nickname. But we were doing baseball, and my like one of the moments I can remember specifically was he was pitching. I hit the ball, but when I hit the ball, it flew back and hit me in the balls.
Were you not wearing a cup?
No, not in fucking elementary school baseball.
They still tell you to wear one.
Not back then.
Oh my god.
But it hit me in the balls. Maybe this is why I'm trans. No. But no.
Mother,
hit
I
me
have
in the
learned
balls.
something about myself today.
And if the ball hits you, you get to walk a base.
Oh no.
So I get hit in the balls, and every coach is like, "Oh God, are you okay?" And I just start walking. I'm like looking up in the air. I can feel the pain, and I'm just like, I'm walking. I get to the base. I keep walking. I don't even turn. I just keep walking straight. I walk about halfway in the outfield, and I just fall over, grabbing my crotch, and everybody comes running up, and I'm just sitting there laughing my ass off. And everybody else is laughing because I just kept walking. I just vividly remember that moment, and it was so funny.
Oh my god, I'm crying. I think the part that got me is I fell over and I started laughing.
Because I could picture in my mind how ridiculous this looked, but I couldn't stop. Couldn't stop walking because I knew the second I stopped walking, the pain would hit even harder.
And I just love how you just ignored everybody and just kept going.
I just kept and then when I finally did stop, I just fell over. And
Oh
I just
my
started
God.
laughing. Everybody else, when they saw me laughing, they just all started laughing too.
That's a moment you've earned the juice box.
Like, are you okay? I'm like, it hurts. But I'm okay.
I found a new spot that makes me want to die. Like, I don't think...
Yeah, I quit Little League. And the other thing that I wanted to say about undidding was because I did Cub Scouts in elementary school, right?
Yeah.
But that was in school, right? That was like ran by the school. It was people from the school. They would, after school we'd all get together and hang out, and we'd either, do work on some kind of project, like, making some kind of arts and crafts, or we actually went on some like field trips and like, adventures and stuff like after school. Just the like 5 or 6 of us that were in Cub Scouts.
Right.
And that was actually fun, right? So, later down the line when Cub Scouts was no longer an option, it was still in elementary school though, and I decided that, let me go try joining the Boy Scouts. I signed up. My parents signed me up. My mom brings me to the first initial meeting. They start talking about all this cool stuff we're gonna do, like, oh, we're gonna go camping, we'll do this, and blah 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 blah. And one of the first actual like things come up, and they're like, yeah, on Saturday we're gonna go and do this, and I just go, Saturday?
Oh,
like,
no.
Like, I want to go hang out with my friends on Saturday. I'd rather go sleep over at my friend's house. Like, and my mom's just like, but you got this. I'm like, yeah, but then I'll never see my friends on the weekends. And they're just like, sure you will. I'm like, no, like they want to do all this stuff for the weekends. Like, I think I'd rather just not do it.
And like I do get why they do that, because there are the kids who don't have anywhere to hang out or anything like that. So it's nice to have them have something to do on the weekends if they're really just wanting to get away from the house for a little bit.
Yeah, no, and that's absolutely fine. I personally, I had my regular group of like friends that I wanted to hang out with all the time on the weekends, and this is, we get together on the weekends and hang out and go do stuff or go like we go out and like we had our own adventures. We lived in South Louisiana. We were preteens who could drive boats and ride four-wheelers, and my friend had a swimming pool.
The fact that you're alive amazes me.
The fact that I'm alive amazes me as well.
Though
But
it's
yeah,
it's interesting you bring up Cub Scouts, because I also was part of the Cub Scouts for a short time, and the main part I remember was getting to go to other people's houses and basically just steal their snacks, because I mean they're giving you cookies and juice boxes for just really no reason but to just make some paper snowflakes.
right.
And I remember for the longest time I was in Scouts, the main thing that was on my mind and I was trying to figure out, when are we getting merit badges? We never got a single merit badge, and I swear they probably forgot that they were supposed to be a thing.
I don't think that's a thing they do in Cub Scouts. I don't remember getting any. I don't remember getting specific badges in Cub Scouts. I remember there was a book, right, that like you could like
Yeah,
go for accolades and stuff, but you didn't get. We never got the actual badges.
that's what made me always think we were going to. They gave us the book that showed all these badges. And it's like, ooh, I want to get some of these cool things. And it's just like, oh no.
I mean, maybe it's just because I maybe didn't complete them or something. I thought I did. I thought I completed a few of them, but um, I think that most of like the actual badge getting was when you actually started hitting like the actual scouts, like the full scouts.
And by that point, I just completely stopped. I didn't care anymore. Like, the last thing I remember about Cub Scouts was like the day before, and they give you like a piece of wood. And they're telling you, okay, you gotta paint these up. You're gonna be racing them next week. It's like, but this is wood. There are wheels in there. Oh. And for the longest time, like, we had these pieces of wood and all that. And I was getting asked by my mom, it's like, oh, what are you gonna paint it as? What's your theme gonna be? And in the back of my mind, it's like, wait, I was supposed to think of a theme for this? So in the end, I just sort of looked around the room and just stuck on space. And my mother ended up painting it for me. And then they stuck pieces of metal on the front to make it go faster. I don't know if that was legal. And then came the event and everything. I don't even think I appeared when it was my turn to race. They just raced my cars. I was just over in the corner of the food area because it was also a potluck. And someone brought boxes and boxes of McNuggets.
Oh, damn.
And at first, I thought, oh, everybody's able to just get a box. And then I got yelled at for doing that. And I was just told you have to pick out from the box. So literally all I just did was I opened the box and I took all the nuggets from it. And no one batted an eye.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like, huh, I'm just a kid and I already figured out how to beat this logic.
I never got to do slot car race.
Yeah, that was like the biggest event.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
It's not that exciting, I can promise you that.
Yeah, probably not, but we didn't get to do that. And I'm sad now.
And honestly, even as a kid, the main part that bugged me, it's like, wait, but we all have the same piece of wood. What makes it go faster than anyone else's?
Yeah.
But I don't remember hating Cub Scouts. I remember they were fine. I didn't know what the hell a Weebo was. I still don't know what the hell a Weebo is.
As far as I remember, they wobble, but they don't fall down.
No, that's a Weeble. Weebo has an X in it, and I don't know what it. I still to this day have no idea. I think they changed that actually because no one knew what it was.
The biggest thing I remember was probably one of my favorite things we did was go on little field trips.
We never got to go on field trips.
Yeah, the ones that I remember specifically was we once went to this little this little park. It was like just a small like little museum thing that was in our town.
Aww.
Uh, and it wasn't even like all that like the place wasn't like all that interesting really. I just remember specifically, we'd pass it all the time. I'd been there a couple times before, but you go, there was like this giant like tower, and like there was you just walked around, and there was like little plaques or whatever to like talk about things or whatever, and we saw a snake.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, a snake. Uh, but the one I remember a little bit more fondly was the one where we went to uh the local newspaper um factory where they actually made the newspaper.
See, now that would have been fun to me as a
The
kid.
actual the press. Like we went to the actual press and we learned about how newspapers were made. That was cool.
I would have loved that kind of field trip. But yeah, our scouts never really went anywhere. We just sort of gathered around at someone's parents' house and just ate snacks and just BS'd about how BS the school day was.
um, in high school, I didn't really do. Okay, no. So that's kind of a lie. But for my first 3 years of high school, I didn't really do any after school activities. Um, After school, my first 3 years was mostly going home and or like go and hang out with a friend after school or whatever.
Being one of the
But
cool kids.
mhm, my senior year though, I joined and helped organize anime club,
Oh, that would have been amazing.
and one of the teachers let us use their room for it and everything, and we just go and watch anime. Um, but I was actually stuck at school for like my senior year for like 3-ish hours after school ended because school ended at like what, like 3:15 or something.
Normally around that time.
And I was living with my older sister, and she didn't get off of work till like 5:30. So she would actually have to drive to, you know, after work, she'd have to drive to the school and pick me up from school because we actually didn't have a bus route that took us, you know,
So you
to
basically
club.
decided to make it a free way to watch anime.
Yeah, well, I also wasn't in the same. I wasn't actually in the school district that I actually should have been going to. We actually used my sister's mom's address so that I would go to a different school.
Oh,
Um, so I but that which is why I didn't have a bus route home because it was like a 30-minute drive from school to home anyway. So I couldn't just like walk either because it was mostly interstate. So I was stuck at the school for a while until somebody picked me up, or if I got like one of my friends who had a car, sometimes would like drive me home to to actually get home early and just hang out. Um, but mostly, I actually had a lot of friends that just stayed after school with me.
must be
Um,
nice.
we actually just had a group of us that they were just like, yeah, let's just hang out, and we all just would hang out on the schoolyards, just BS and like for a few hours. We'd either be playing Magic the Gathering, or we'd just be sitting there talking, or sometimes somebody like would like have like a football or something that we just throw and play, or like there was once where it was snowing, and we all uh we all just made a snowman out in the football field. Um, or once in a while, we would actually like go to one of our closer friends' houses after school. Like, there was this girl that I was dating for a little while in high school. Who lived really close to school.
Ooh.
Yeah, and we would go to her house and like hang out and go into her basement and all watch anime there. Uh, or one of our other friends, we'd go like had a few friends that lived close enough that we could just walk there after school, just hang out for a few hours, play video games or watch stuff or just BS. Um, but what's funny is the one time I ever actively like left school early to like ditch, there was like an assembly going on,
Oh
and
no.
I hated assemblies. I just did not want to go to the assembly. But we were all walking to the gym or whatever, and I looked downstairs, and my one of my friends was down the stairs above like underneath the walkway that we were going through,
Right.
and they like looked up and they saw me and they just started waving me down to them. So I go down, just thinking that they wanted me to go hang out and sit with them. And then we go outside, and they're just like, "Okay, we got to go this way." And then like they brought me around like a path where none of the people like that were there watching for kids that were doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
They actually had a specific path to like get around it all, get around them without getting seen. We follow them, and I was just like, what are we doing? They're like, we're going to my house. I'm like, oh, okay. So we just skipped assembly, left school like an hour and a half early, and went to his house and just hung out.
Did anyone notice, or?
No, nobody noticed.
Well, now you're gonna get in trouble because you just admitted to it.
Oh God, they're gonna find out.
Oh man, like, unlike you, I didn't have many friends because I was a nerd that played Magic the Gathering.
Well, like again, the reason I had a bunch of friends was because I played Magic the Gathering, and the place I went to, the last place I went to school in my senior year, a lot of the kids there played Magic, and one day I just saw a bunch of kids playing Magic, and I just walked up, and I'm just like, "Oh, y'all play Magic? Mind if I play too?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I actually have my deck with me." And like, "Cool." And
See,
that's how I made my group of friends.
I didn't play such a nerdy game. I actually had taste. I played Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid.
You still play Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, I still play Yu-Gi-Oh. But like, it was the thing as like when I was young, Yu-Gi-Oh was the thing.
Yeah.
It was at its height. I hated playing it though. As a kid, the only card shop we had in town was filled with scammers and cheaters and people that would just trick kids out of their money.
Oh no.
And I feel that was one of the most toxic times I've ever had as life, because I was starting to become just like that until I eventually stopped playing because kids would make fun of you if you played Yu-Gi-Oh. It was a weird thing where Yu-Gi-Oh was the popular thing, but if you played it, you were considered a nerd and no one wanted to do anything with you because of it. It was weird.
It's just the place you lived. But I mean, Pokemon was at the height of its thing when I was when I was growing up, and like Pokemon had just came out actually, and it was like really, really big, and I was really into it, and if people were just like, "Oh, you playing Pokemon?" I'm just like, "Yeah."
I got
course I
a
am.
legendary
Pokemon.
Zapdos.
I had a couple like our elementary school wasn't big. We didn't have very many people there. I mean, our class was about 25 to 30 kids. That it was the same. We were the same group of kids from kindergarten and our school went up to 8th grade.
Wow.
So we didn't actually have a middle school.
Lucky.
Same group of kids. I knew these kids pretty much my entire childhood, and like only a couple of them actually like got into Pokemon and stuff. So
I would get in trouble if I brought my Pokemon cards with me because my mom got mad that I learned what trading was.
oh,
And it's like, Ma, I got this. I know how to negotiate. And honestly, speaking of the trading cards and all that, I got a bit of a history with an after-school activity.
Yeah.
So, let me be upfront about this. Believe what you want to believe. Just be a good person. I went to a youth group when I was younger. We called it 3 in 1. And I can easily say this was one of the worst things I have ever joined when I was a kid. Because at first I was told, oh yeah, this is where everybody gets to hang out and play games and have cookies and just get to have fun. What they didn't bother to tell me is that first you have to deal with like a half hour to 45 minutes of scripture talk, which, okay, that's fine, that's dandy. I haven't read the book, but I guess, okay. Then, half the time, they would put on what possibly some of the most cringiest PowerPoint presentations you could ever imagine, just talking about how great the Lord is and everything like that, which, okay. But the one I remember to this day was like, I swear to God, it must have been clip art animated. But it was a whole music video talking about how Jesus is greater than this and this. And at the time, it was probably during the height of my Yu-Gi-Oh phase, and I had a Yu-Gi-Oh shirt and everything. And for some random part in this song, they just randomly said how Jesus is greater than Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh no.
After that was said, every kid in that room stared at me. And I felt so embarrassed just because it's like, well, I like it. And let me be fully honest. This place should not be teaching to kids. I am not going to lie about that. Because what they taught and how they taught was absolutely awful. Because what they would try to do is, instead of teaching you to love the Lord and everything like that, like normal youth groups would probably do, they decide to tell you, hey, hell is horrible. Here's why. And
fear tactics.
And we were like 7 to 11 years old. And there was an instance that I remembered to this date, and it was probably the moment where it's like, I hate youth group. And there were 2 instances that happened on this magical day. One, they decide to play a video for us kids. A video that says if you don't pray, you're going to hell. And it was done in a way to where it showed these 4 teenagers. I swear to God, it is the most stock you can imagine. The most corny thing you can imagine. Just 4 teenagers hanging out after school. They're going to go drive down the way. And then they get in a car crash. They all die. And it shows 3 of the teenagers just getting locked up in this empty, almost solitary confinement. And then the other kid gets to ascend to heaven because he prayed. I saw that as a kid, and it's like, this is both horrifying and confusing. And then it was followed up by a speech. And I kid you not. The first thing, they start with this speech. Now, kids, do you know the most common way to die? And of course we were all stunned, because it's like, what the hell did he just say? And the answer, I kid you not, the answer to what he said was, well, the most common way to die is diarrhea. And I feel like that was the moment as a kid, something flicked in my mind where all I could think is like, oh, this guy's insane. So for the rest of the time, it's just like I completely blurred it out and just started to think, what PlayStation game do I want to play when I get home?
Yep.
And then I got I got my oatmeal raisin cookie. I waited for my ride home, and then I played some Sly Cooper, and that was the point where I told my mom, hey, this is what they tried to teach us. I don't want to go anymore. I went 1 more week because they had a carnival. And then after that, it's like, yeah, I'm done. These guys are insane.
So I'll only go into this briefly since we're actually we're probably getting past time.
We're at 50 minutes.
Okay, yeah, we still got our last segment to do,
Yeah.
but I grew up Catholic. Catholics have something that's mandatory.
Oh no.
It was called catechism,
Oh.
and after school every Wednesday, just like with your youth group, we would go to this little, like this other little place, and learn about Jesus and God and all this stuff. And we'd have to do like it was basically Jesus school after normal school. So we'd go and we'd have to like do like we'd get homework and we'd have to do tests and
Oh my
all this
god,
stuff.
they gave you homework?
Yep. And I hated it. I hated it so much because all I wanted to do was just go home and like I just wanted to go home or like I wanted to play Pokemon or whatever. But there was one thing that came out of it, and it was that because I went to that, I actually met one of my best friends as a kid.
Aww.
Because that best friend actually lived like in the same town. They lived near me. But they didn't go to the same school because their mom was a teacher in a town over.
Oh.
And so I went to that school. But I got to know him. We started hanging out like outside of that, and we would, that's how I met them, and just, we were pretty much inseparable. Like we were just like that was my best friend for a long, long time.
Aww.
We eventually had a pretty big falling out, and I'm not going to go into that, but that's how we met. They even like stopped going to the school their mom taught at to come to like the local school so that they could just like, be there with me and be around like more local kids and stuff like that.
Aww.
And but either way, like I did catechism for up until high school. And when it was about when I got to high school, when I was just like I'd moved to a whole different state because my dad had gotten divorced and my mom moved to a different state and I wanted to move with her. And I moved up there, started high school. And my mom's like, "Oh, we should probably find you a catechism to go to." And blah, blah. I'm like, "Mom, no." I'm like, I'm not doing it. And just like, she's like, "Oh, but you won't be able to get married in a church and stuff like that." I'm like, "I don't care." Like, I'm like, "I don't like this. It's so boring." And the more I learn about it, the less I believe it, like, and eventually I would read the Bible and that would just solidify my atheism. Uh, but, I had to go through that for so many years and it was just more than anything a really, really painful experience.
And of course, people can believe what they want to believe. Just be a good person. That's my
Yeah,
line. Nah, I'm
I
sticking
won't
to it.
I won't tell anybody what to believe and what not to believe. Just if you're
Exactly.
gonna if you're gonna force your shit on other people, then fuck you.
Yeah, it's when you start to
Two,
force it that's not cool.
if you're gonna take away other people's happiness, especially if they're not hurting anybody for your shit, then fuck you. But if you're religious, you believe in your religion and stuff like that, and if you request something like, oh, we can't go eat at this place or whatever because all they serve is stuff that's against my religion, blah blah blah, and things like that, I'll respect that.
Yeah.
Or if you can't do something specific because of your religion, I'll respect that. But don't try to stop me from doing something. As long as I'm not, if I'm not hurting anybody, then you have no right to stop me from doing what I do.
And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, this is basically as far as we're going to get into the whole religion talk, because our
Yeah.
our motto is we don't talk about religion and politics unless it's hilarious.
Well, we'll stay away from them if it comes up and it matters.
Yeah.
If it involves what we're talking about and stuff like that, that it's fine.
Yeah,
But yeah,
like
for the
learning
most part,
about how hell is diarrhea. And, I mean, they're not wrong there, but they're also wrong.
uh, yeah. But I mean, it's I mean, all in all, it's not a podcast where we're gonna
Yeah, we're not going to get too extreme on that. We're
we're
just
here to
talking about.
spout we're here to spout bullshit. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that basically sums up a lot of our after school activities, really.
yeah.
We
Sure, there's a lot more we go through, but God,
Yeah, I even have
we
some in school activities I could have gone with, but you know, you gotta make time.
yep. Uh, yeah. So that should be it for most of it. We got to go to our final segment,
And what
media and
segment is?
we.
So you want to start this time since I started last time?
I like that. You could just cut yourself from there. Uh, gosh, yeah. I'm getting to the point where I'm tired from talking and recording all day. But yeah. So media and we again. If you guys haven't tuned into any of the other podcasts, this is the segment of the show where we talk about things that we have watched or indulged in recently within media. That could be video games, music, movies, TV, whatever. As long as it's some kind of media, it's just their chance to discuss what we've been doing. Can contain spoilers. Just be aware of that. Uh, we'll still try to warn about spoilers. Um, so I do have three things I want to bring up
Shoot.
in this segment. Uh, because it not to break the magic, but it's been a little while in between podcasts, and there's been a couple things that I finally gotten to actually watch or have discovered. One of those being Sonic 2.
Oh,
And
the
Sonic,
movie?
yes,
I got confused.
Sonic 2 the movie. Uh, you've been waiting to hear my opinion on it. I told you I'd wait until we were doing the podcast.
Oh, that's right.
And I have to say that I really thought it was okay.
Yeah, okay was about how I thought about it.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was funny. There was a few parts that got me excited. Um, the only part that I can really say I didn't care for
I think I know.
was the wedding scene.
That's what it is.
Um, everything else, everything with Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik, I loved. It was so funny. It was so full of little jokes and it was a good time. I really liked watching Sonic and Tails meet and like their connection with each other grow, and it was a lot of heartwarming moments. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you're not the only one that thinks that like the human stuff can just kind of not exist. It would still be fine.
Or at least if the human stuff involved more Sonic, I get what was like it parts of it made sense, like why it was there, like what they were trying to get across and progress. But at the same time, it also just was the weakest part to the movie.
And I guess technically the humans that appear are in Sonic lore. Like, I get it, but they really didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, like that girl Sonic kissed.
Ugh.
Uh, but yeah, so that's my quick opinion on that. And then there's two other things I wanted to mention. I've watched a few anime recently.
Weeb.
Um, I'll go with this one first because I'll gush about it less. There's one I watched about 6 episodes of it called 24th Tokyo Ward, and basically the premise was there's these three guys that were friends with a couple, like they were friends, and there were these two girls that they were also friends with, and they hung out all the time. They were friends since childhood. And one of the guys, like really wants to be like he wanted to be able to like be a hero and be able to save people or whatever. But during this like event, this fire or whatever, one of the girls, gets crushed by like a falling like part of a building when while it's on fire, and he's unable to save her, like he's trying, and she dies because she's protecting another girl. Um, and he's able to pull the other girl out because the one girl sacrificed her life for that girl to save her. And eventually the three friends fall apart. The bulk of the anime takes place like years later, or like a year later or something. And they're all like they hang out again for like the first time. They're starting to get along, and all of a sudden they all receive a phone call from the dead girl. So they all kind of like freak out, like they neither want to tell each other like what who's on the call, and they all like get up and walk away, go to different places for the call. They answer the phone, and they all suddenly see a vision of one of their friends stuck on a train, or not stuck on a train, but like stuck on a train track with their like foot stuck, holding their pet dog, and the train's coming or whatever, and all they hear is like the voice of the dead girl or whatever saying something like basically giving them like a choice, like, do you risk the lives of the people on the train to save the girl, or do you sacrifice the girl to save the people in the train, that type of thing. And they all get off the phone. They had the vision or whatever. They're kind of freaking out. They're like, I don't know what's going on. And throughout the episode, like things start to kind of fall together where that situation starts happening. um, and once the situation once they start piecing together, like, oh, this isn't just a vision. This is actually a thing that's going to happen, and we have to make a choice. They suddenly realize that they suddenly just have these like powers, like, and these abilities to like one of them can like jump and like run really fast and like start scaling the buildings and stuff like that, and they all like start doing their own thing to like and working together to try to like save the girl and stop the train because they want to change both the futures. They don't want to be stuck within those two choices. They're like, no, we're going to make our own choice. And they go through that whole situation, and each episode is them getting these other like more of these like situations and them trying to like solve it, and they don't always go smoothly. Like sometimes they fuck up and people die, or they make rash decisions and they either get mad at, like, then they struggle and fight with each other a lot, and it's actually really interesting. I'm really excited to see more of that one.
So it's kind of like a Trial by Trolley, the anime.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, that one was called 24th Tokyo Award. Highly suggest giving that one a look. And then one that I have absolutely fallen in love with. It's one of my favorite anime right now. It constantly makes me laugh. It's such a dumb premise, and at the same time, it's just too good. It's called Love After World Domination.
Oh my god,
And
this one.
the premise is you have basically a group of Sentai or Power Rangers, and they're constantly fighting the bad guys or whatever. And there's like this evil villainess, that they constantly face. Well, the Red Power Ranger and the villainess fall in love with each other, and they keep using the battles that keep happening as opportunities to sneak off and like have little dates. Like they pretend they like have these little fights, and they like pretend to fight each other, and then they're like, let's go somewhere more secluded for our fight. And then everybody's like, and everybody like expects this, like the two bad guys, the two most powerful people going off to like fight so they don't cause destruction or whatever. And then it's just them like sitting somewhere and being cute and like flirting with each other and like talking about like, oh, like you know I hope we can go on real dates someday and blah blah blah. And then like most of the anime turned is them like trying to work around this stuff and like find ways to like actually have actual dates and things like that. And it's so cute and it's so funny and it makes me laugh. And it's one of my favorite shows right now. I highly suggest anybody watch it.
It's an
Um,
interesting premise.
it keeps getting funnier and funnier and funnier. So this one's gonna be a spoiler. Just to give you an idea. Uh, there's an episode where he's actually like at the secret lair with her, like, and there's he's actually helping her study, and her dad shows up. Her dad is actually was is a longtime member of the evil organization. Like, there's actually a bigger bad guy or whatever above them all. She's just one of the high end officers. Her dad is like has always been one of the low level foot soldiers or whatever. And so, in order to sneak in, Red is dressed up as one of the like the foot soldier guys or whatever. And the dad shows up, and they're all like, "Oh," just trying to pretend like he's not a superhero and he's not one of, and not give away who he is. So the whole episode is like about that, and it eventually like he gets to a point where he's like, your daughter wants to be able to go to college after school, so and this type of stuff, and you should let her. And the dad's like, oh yeah, like that's my daughter, and I know what's best for her, like, and like he's like, if if you wanna if you want her to if she wants to go to school after or if she wants to go to college after school, you need to defeat me in a fight or whatever. And so the dad and him like get ready to fight. The dad goes charging at him, and all of a sudden goes flying. And Red is standing there, and he's like, I didn't even do anything." And the dad's just like, the dad gets up and he's like, "I've always trained to be able to be defeated in the most glorious ways. You know, all the foot soldiers always get defeated, and it's always like every time they get defeated, it's so boring, and they don't put any passion into it. Well, I've always made it my passion to get this when I get defeated to make it flashy, and stuff like this." And the dad's like, I can see you really care, and blah blah blah, and all this stuff, and like actually like gives his blessing and everything. It's just the funniest stupid shit. It's so dumb, and I love it. And yeah,
Good
that's
lord.
the things I wanted to talk about.
Well, for me, haven't really been watching a lot of anime besides Spy X Family, which you should all watch. It is an amazing show that gives you the warm and fuzzies. I swear it is.
Gotta
But
catch up on that one myself.
but I've seen a movie recently, and I kind of wish more people saw this in the theaters because it just there's like it's a niche thing to see in the theaters anymore. I went and saw the Bob's Burgers movie. And
Yeah, that was a thing.
and if you like Bob's Burgers, you're going to love this movie. It's just like a long episode of it. And it has some musical parts in it. I swear it's only like 3 or 4 songs, so I don't know if I should call it a musical. But weirdly enough, it's choreographed. Like, it's weirdly choreographed. And it's a fun movie. It has a lot of good jokes. It's just Bob's Burgers humor that's just on the big screen. It's fun. It's it's something I kind of miss the generation where you would see multiple cartoons get movie adaptations. Like The Simpsons got one, you had Beavis and Butthead get one, South Park, you have stuff like Pokemon, Digimon. Like there was a time when TV stuff would always get a movie if it was popular enough. And this is what it reminded me of. And
Yeah,
what I will say is because a lot of people are confused, like, what could the plot of a Bob's Burgers movie be? Basically, what it is, well, it's just a Bob's Burgers episode, really. They're just trying to get money to pay off their loan for the month, and all the while, a giant pothole forms right in front of the restaurant.
oh
So
man.
the only way people can get in is if they go through the alley and come in through the back. So they're not getting any customers. And so the kids try to figure out a way. Honestly, what's weird about this movie is like they try to show all the kids have their own turmoils of some sort. Like, oh god, I always forget their names. Like, I remember Louise.
Yeah.
I remember Tina. Tina's the one I was thinking of. Tina is just trying to make Jimmy Jr. her summer boyfriend. And it's an interesting thing where it's like she's having these fantasies, and the fantasies are conflicting, saying that, well, what if he's probably as dumb as you think he is and you won't like it? It's like, that's an interesting thing. That goes nowhere. And then Gene, you know, he might as well not exist. He's just like trying to find and make his own instrument. It's mainly a Louise movie, really. Because you kind of figure out where she got the ears. And she basically turns it into a murder mystery of all things. It's a fun movie. It's just like, if you like Bob's Burgers, I definitely recommend checking it out, especially in theaters, because this did not get a lot of people in the box office. And I really miss that generation so bad.
Yeah, I really want to see that, actually.
And then, besides that, I've also been catching up on Stranger Things, Season 4, Part 1. I really hate when they do that. And I gotta say, a lot of people are kinda... It's a war zone about what they think about the season. I like it, but I don't know if I could say it's my favorite. And since it's still fresh, I'm not going to get into pretty much any spoilers because I do not want to get shot down. All I will say is, if anyone's curious who my favorite character is in Stranger Things, Steve. It's always Steve. It's always going to be Steve. Get off my
Steve!
back.
I love Steve.
Steve is amazing. Because, like, I'm not going to talk about the current season, but just like the past season, it's like, you first see Steve and you freaking hate him. He is the typical bully. He is an absolute asshole. And then the series keeps going on. It's like, oh my god, I love Steve. He's amazing.
Yep.
I love the show. It's fun. I wouldn't call it my favorite show, but it's fun.
Yeah, I really like the first 3 seasons. That's all I saw so far myself.
Yeah, at least that's what you're telling me.
Nope, I have not watched any of the new season.
I still don't.
I'd actually... Because I'd want to talk about it with you if I did.
You know what? That is fair. The one thing I will complain about this season, they freaking spoiled something really huge in the trailer.
Oh no.
Like, they didn't trust their audience to come back enough to where they make this huge spoiler in their first trailer. And it's like, you know, if I didn't see that trailer, that would have hit me so hard. But yeah, besides that, I've just sort of been playing a couple Earthbound games, and that's about it.
Cool. All right, we kind of a little bit longer episode, but
That's fine.
yeah, we had a lot of talking. We did a lot of talking. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got to talk about tacos, after school, and anime.
God, we went on tacos a lot longer than we weren't even going to talk about tacos. It just happened.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, that one was your fault going on your gordita adventure.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, that's the podcast, I guess.
Yeah, another week in the books.
Hell yeah. And yeah, we'll try to get these out a little bit more regularly. It's been a little hard for us to get stuff out and going, but we'll get on it, and we hope that y'all will keep coming back as we improve and get better at this. And yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, we got a lot of topics on the dock yet, and we're hoping to keep you entertained for another week yet.
Topics on the dockets.
All
right.
So yeah.
All right, well, that'll be it. Thank you all, and we'll see y'all later.
Later.